Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of All Elite Ensemble Review, your weekly AEW review show here at BC WrestlePod. Of course, my name is Mikey. I am one of the hosts here of All Elite Ensemble. And joining me tonight, of course, is my lovable compatriot, Mr. Benny, who is in the house to talk about a spoopy edition of Dynamite and Collision because we got the Halloween specials this past week.
And good evening, Mikey, and all the boils and ghouls and nondescript spirits. Let's rock and roll.
Heck yeah. Before we get into all of that, of course, if you are brand new here and you want to know what we are about, we are a cavalcade of characters that decides to talk about wrestling. And we like to break it down. We do like to do our post shows, if you will, talking about all the major feds and international brands. And so if you want to see all that, you can subscribe to our YouTube, follow us on Twitch or Kick. Or if you want something more self-contained, go to our social medias at BC WrestlePod, where you can see our report cards for weekly shows, get previews of what's about to be popping up on television for the night, as well as some other fun stuff going on. And we also have some merchandise at our merch store, bcwrestlepodshop.fourthwall.com, where we got a plethora of things. And last but certainly not least, our little buddy, our coffee bot, will be popping into the chat ever so often. If you would like to donate to help support the cause by keeping the metaphorical and sometimes physical lights on here at the BC WrestlePod studios, please do so, because we would love that more than anything. Alrighty, with that out of the way, we are about to get into our regular program of Dynamite and Collision reviews. A lot of this was pretty self-contained this week. I felt like Dynamite blew by really easily, and then of course with Collision being pre-taped, it was just like, yeah, not a lot of slides for Collision with certain parts. And you know what? We won't talk about it at the end, but with the announcements of how they're going to handle Dynamite and Collision with certain matches this week, I was just like, give me more sports-based stuff. Yes, let me have matches to determine who gets advantages and blood and guts in 2 weeks. Can't wait. We're going to talk about that. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about that later because we have our final lineup for men and women's and all I got to say is, Tony, not because they're women, but because the feud has been going on longer, the women need to main event blood and guts. Just putting it out there. It's going to be a long show. Oh my goodness. So we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show, but let's get into Dynamite, or Dinamite, as the kids say. So AEW Dynamite, we kick things off with a Trick or Treat Tornado tag team match where we got Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy taking on, the Death Riders, which comes in the form this match of Hot Topic reject Wheeler Yuta and new to the crew Daniel Garcia. I love me a good Trick or Treat Tornado tag team match. It was like, this is just an excuse for you to use pumpkins and tables and Darby's skateboard. I was just like, I'm here for it. I mean, not to spoil anything, but looking at the direction of what we got with the announcement on the men's side of things later in the episode, I was just like, I'm just waiting for it. I was like, I'm here for it. It's like, we know where we're going with this.
Yeah, this was super fun. Like, most of these guys cut their teeth in a little place called Beyond Wrestling. Shout out to White Eagle. And Darby has one Halloween costume, I've noticed. He's always the Invisible Man. And I love that about him. Good old, was it Lon Chaney Jr., I believe? When the Death Riders were coming out, that new song I hadn't heard, and that was really good. Shout out Mikey Ruckus or whoever made that song. There was this one part where there was some great camera work in this one. You're paying attention to Orange Cassidy and Daniel Garcia, and Daniel Garcia throws Cassidy over the barricade. He acts all cool. And then out of nowhere, Yoda runs through the crowd and topples them over. So fantastic.
It was chaotic AF. But honestly, we love to see it. This is going to be so much fun. This was a fun match. Darby and Orange pick up the victory here. And Los Death Riders would be seeing some crazy action and some mixed results later in the show. So we'll talk more about that when we get there. Oh, Hook. It was at this moment I knew you are about to die.
Yeah, I saw somebody online the other day that was like, why does he have so many roller bags? He wears shorts to the ring.
I was like, unless you're about to pull out a bag of chips, what are we doing?
I think it's just all hair product, to be honest.
I'm just like, what is happening? Oh my goodness. I love it though. I really, really do. But yeah, Hook basically tells us that he's going to, make Joe essentially he's coming after Joe. He's got unfinished business and he didn't forget. I was like, Joe is gonna kill you. Boy, More on Hook when we get to our main event. This was chaotic as heck. This is such a chaotic backstage segment into an entrance. I was like, I don't know. I'm kind of here for it. So, of course, Renee is interviewing the Bucks. Don Callis comes in, offers a spot in the Don Callis family for the Bucks. And Don Callis proceeds to introduce the Young Bucks. And they're just like, well, I mean, it's better than what we've been doing. But they're like, I don't know. This is cool. It's just like, no more people in the family. Like, what is... And now we're recruiting. What is going on? We are recruiting more people. What's happening right now?
Yeah, Don's coming on a little bit too hard right here. Let me grease the palms a little bit.
I was like, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, Tony Khan. I was like, can I get some?
Right.
I was just like, I mean, come on, look at this picture. Look who we have in this match. Like, was there a doubt that this was going to be banging? Like, honestly. Oh, I love these teams so much.
And like doing the standing moonsault, it never gets old for me. Just please don't ever do the Phoenix Splash again. And I was like, where are they? Oh yeah, Texas. Totally makes sense.
Be like, where are we again? Oh, right.
And my boys got the win, much to the chagrin of everybody in that building and online.
I'm just telling it. I love Brodito with all my little heart, but I've been saying this, and Brody King did the one thing he was not supposed to yet. He actually did the Macarena, which means they probably gonna lose Full Gear. Just kidding, but honestly, I was just like, Tony Khan, please let Brodito at least finish out the year as tag team champs. Then you can like put new champions on them. I don't know, Revolution or Winter is Coming or wherever you want to have it. Just don't do it. I want them to finish out the year as tag team champion. Anyways.
One of the problems with the tag division right now is that like they have a bunch of really great tag teams, but all of them are on the face side. And like FTR going up against Brodito is like a perfect matchup. So.
Right, and I kind of agree with you too. We need more heel tag teams, honestly, right now in the men's division. Women's division, I feel like you got a good mixture. We're gonna talk about them a little bit. I was like, oh, so it's gonna be like that. Okay, but FTR win. They earned the right to face Brodito at Full Gear for the titles. I can't believe that Full Gear is like in 3 weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah. Ever since they went to like the newer schedule, it's rough, man.
I was just like, damn, you guys, like we're 3 weeks. So it felt like Wrestle Dream was just yesterday. We're 3 weeks out from Full Gear. And then we have a good chunk of time because World's End is literally not until towards the end of the calendar year. Like the last weekend of December, I was like, well, damn, it's after Christmas, y'all.
Yeah, and like Final Battle is on like the 5th of December.
It is like the beginning of the month, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we're in for the long haul. But to be fair, after World's End, we don't have technically, unless they decide to do something during February or January, we don't get another AEW pay-per-view until March, which kicks things off with Revolution for the calendar year. Which, you know what? I'm not going to complain. I'm not complaining. But again, FTR win here. This was a really fun match. This was great. I love all these teams involved. Brodito versus FTR is set for Full Gear. Just shout out to Chris Statlander for rocking the black Goku costume in this whole entire segment. Just beautiful. That was why I wanted. And so this promo was fun too.
Yeah, the promo was fantastic. Like, but all I was gonna say was that like I thought it was Casey Jones, to be honest, and then somebody was like, "Oh, Dark Goku," and I was like, "Makes sense."
I love that AEW is not afraid. Their wrestlers are not afraid to let them know, yeah, we're geeks, and I was like, you can beat me up, so that's okay. But Chris is keeping her eye out. You know, she and Mercedes are going back and forth. We escalated things, something I was not expecting this episode of Dynamite. But we'll get to that in a little bit because right now, the summit is here, you guys. And you know what that means, Benny. The homoerotic paintings are back.
Excalibur so eloquently put it, Dawn of Finland.
I had to pause when this painting was unveiled because I was like, okay, I got to take a look at all of this, right? I was just like, that is an orgy if I've ever seen one. But on top of like why does he have the Latin homie tattoo on the abs? I was like, no, not the Cholo tattoo on the stomach.
I know, right?
I can't. I was not prepared. I knew some shenanigans were going to happen. I was not prepared. I was like, Rocky Romero. What are we doing? Damn. I was like, this family is so big. Why is it that Kyle and like 2 other people are the only ones who wrestle every single week? Like, what are we doing? What is happening right now? So, but as Kyle's reading the list, Takeshita makes his entrance. He is actually here. Him and Okada get into it. Don Callis says that, you know, they need to make up. So Takeshita begrudgingly sticks out the hand for a handshake. Okada looks at it, and then of course we had to censor it, but he gives him the bird. I was just like, the girls are fighting, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, like base, like in every segment that he's been in this week have been priceless. Like he's got the biggest, let's say, poop eating grin. We're only 20 minutes in, so
for
like
real, we gotta wait for 10 minutes before we can start doing, the crazy stuff.
Yeah, like man. I believe the artist, I could be wrong, of these paintings is Mel Coleman on all social media.
Heck yeah.
Mel Coleman art, and she's fantastic.
Love it.
And yeah, you're right. Like, how many people do you need, Don? This is a murderous row of people. Like,
seriously, this is a whole squad. This is gang for real. Like, what is happening?
Seriously.
And now we're trying to recruit the Bucks into this too. I was just like, we don't need more people. I was like, you can't have all the heels, Don. That's not how this works.
Looking at this picture, I was like, look at this. Like, you get like Suzuki Goon, you get Murder Bird, Lance Archer, and like
you got Brian Cage in this picture. I was just like, I know he out here rehabbing and everything with his injury, but damn, I was like, now as a man, I was just like, yes, maybe. 100%. I was like, the answer is just like, so what do you think? Yes. No, but man, when Okada and Takeshita finally break and do a full-on brawl, is going to be glorious.
That match is going to be so fantastic.
I'm telling you, let it happen during let it happen at the Continental Classic. Let it be the finals, and just to add salt to the wound to Okada, let Takeshita take that title, and he could be a triple champion across 3 different brands. Can't wait. So that was the Don Callis Summit. Again, we got a homoerotic painting. Kyle Fletcher literally reading the clubhouse rules, and then Takeshita and Okada still be beefing. Don Callis says that they need to work through their issues, so he scheduled a tag team match for them on Collision. And shout out to Max Caster and Anthony Bowens on them playing along with it on social media, basically cursing out. They're like, what the wank is this? It's like, cancel this match immediately.
Yeah, crashing out. Like, why?
Honestly, I was like, you know what? If I saw those were my opponents, I would be the same. I was like, nah, cancel this match immediately. I'm going to absolutely not. Yeah, we're going to talk about that match during Collision. But moving on from the Summit, for the match, for the second week in a row, this ends in a DQ. And for the second week in a row, Kyle O'Reilly's over-exaggerated reactions to said DQs are hilarious. Because as soon as Marina punched Aubrey in the face, Kyle O'Reilly's reaction face was amazing and ridiculous, and I loved it. Again, I'm going to repeat what I said last week. I try not to throw around the word underrated or like so good, like it looks effortless kind of thing. I'm going to say it again. Kyle O'Reilly is just one of those talents, man. I was just like, he is so good. It's like, makes it effortless and like, so I love Kyle O'Reilly. He's so good.
Yeah, like the past few like months, like a month or so, like Moxley's sort of been having these. Well, first he had the matches with Roddy, right, and now he's having these tactical matches with Core here, Kyle O'Reilly, and like we finally got the answer to what Death Jitsu is from the great Bryan Danielson on commentary. So it's a mixture of brawling and submission wrestling.
Right. Really quickly though. Danielson, him dressing up as Echiseto for this episode, I was dying. I was like, oh my, I was just like, I should look at you with a raised eyebrow, because I was like, is this cultural appropriation? But I was just like, you know what? Forget it. Danielson is having a good time. And the other day, the clip of him talking about how much he loves Echiseto and wrestled Echiseto, I was just like, I love it. That has me cracking up still that I revisit. It's just like, yo soy Echiseto. Have you ever wrestled a guy like that? I wrestled Echiseto. And then Excalibur loses his mind out. Oh man, I love it so freaking much.
I love the commentary lately. Like there was a point in this match, like at the beginning, where like Danielson just screams.
I was like, Danielson, like what are we on tonight? Like what's happening?
He just transitioned so easily to that role. Like he was like there the whole time. You know?
I was just like, amazing. We love to see it.
And like I really like the story that they're telling with Moxley right now. And that like Darby made him quit at the pay-per-view, right? And these past 2 matches with Kyle O'Reilly to win. And like they got a draw on this one, right? And it's a pretty straightforward, simple story, right? And How do you win blood and guts? What is surrender?
Blood and guts. So, on the men's side of things for blood and guts, it is going to be the Death Riders versus Darby Allin and the Conglomeration. So, of course, it is Moxley, Claudio, Daniel Garcia, Wheeler, and Pac taking on Darby, Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, and whether or not he wants to be here or not, and Roderick Strong. Roddy is in blood and guts. I was just like, this is going to be good.
My first thought was, is Pac going to leave the Death Riders again on this one? Or
I was like, let this man get a break. We just got him back.
It's like in the reason that the BCC lost the 2023 one is because Pac was like, I'm out. That'd be all. And it went back to England for like 6 months.
I'm looking forward to this match. And I love that have the final. They're just like, yeah, these are the teams. So be prepared. I was like, Moxley has been saving his blood for this one. Somebody is about to bleed. Funny enough, I think like Roddy is probably the most excited about who I'm interested to see how he handles blood and guts.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, okay, Darby, yeah. Orange, yeah. I was just like, Kyle O'Reilly, yeah. In his days. Death Riders, absolutely. Roddy, jury's still out on that one. We shall see in 2 weeks how Roddy fares in his first blood and guts. So looking forward to that match, but we got to keep this train going because right now, literally, the girls are fighting because it starts out with Mercedes finding Chris, taking her out to beat her up. Then Athena makes it a 2-on-1. And then Willow and Harley come out for the save. I was just like, I'm sensing something being set up here. Of course, that tomorrow night we are getting Athena and Mercedes versus Willow and Harley in the, women's tag team tournament. So we're going to get to that one. And then Collision, I was like, oh, I see. I'm going to wait until we get your official graphic for Blood and Guts because I was like, you know what? It makes sense, except for one. I was like, I'm not mad, but she falls into the Roddy category. I was just like, I'm interested to see how that goes. But we'll get there during Collision. Not the way that I thought it was going to go, and honestly, I'm here for it. So we get our quarterfinal match in the AEW Women's Tag Team Tournament. We get the Sisters of Sin, of course, which is Julia Hart and Sky Blue. I was just like, I love them so much. And they are, of course, taking on, Haterade herself, Jamie Hayter, and the one and only of Team Juicy, Queen Aminata. God, Aminata is just so... Listen, I love all 4 of these, but I was just like, I'm not saying that it has to be soon, but in 2026, Tony Khan, I'm just putting it out there, I think I'm ready for an Aminata championship run in some capacity. I think Queen should hold the title in 2026. I don't care if it's AEW or ROH. I think Homegirl is ready.
Definitely. I feel like every tournament that they have in ROH lately for the undercard is Donna versus Billy Starks, and Donna is a beast this year. So good on her. She's really, really blossomed over the last year. She's been wrestling for 7 years, so I can't say that she's come a long way, but she's been doing the damn thing for a while.
The crowd loves her.
Yeah.
And like I'm saying, I was just like, I'm ready for an Aminata championship run. As far as the match goes, I liked it. Again, I was very surprised with the ending, but then again, because of what we're getting at Blood and Guts, I was like, yeah, I could see the Sisters of Sin winning over Aminata and Hayter, but that has to be that Jamie's going to lead her team to victory during Blood and Guts, because that is the only... I'm not saying that's the only result, but given the fact of if we were to compare the ratio of how the heel team had versus the face team in terms of how many times they've been jumped and defeated, I was like, and we're far enough in, it's past 30 minutes. It was like the babyface team to be for the women's side needs to win Blood and Guts because they've been getting the ass beat more heel teams leading into this whole entire thing. But yeah, I mean, I thought this match was decent. It was good. I like that Julia and Sky are moving on. It does make me a little worried, though, because they are either going to have to deal with Harley and Willow, or they're going to have to deal with Mercedes and Athena. It's just like, girls, I love you, but AEW, you're going to really need me to convince me, as much as I love Julia and Sky, that they need to get it into gear because they're going to need it all in order to beat one of those 2 other teams, because especially like Mercedes and Athena are no slouches. Harley is a fan favorite, but Willow's not a slouch either. So it's like, you're going to have to convince me they have a shot of making it to the finals. I'm just saying.
But yeah, there was a moment like at the end where like because Tekla had gotten involved on the outside and that helped get the win. And like Julia's like laughing and like singing along with the lyrics to the song. She's got like a really evil smile. Like she's rad as hell, man. Good work by all women in this one.
100%. So again, Sisters of Sin move on with the help of Tekla, and yeah, we're gonna talk more about them in terms of it's like finally we got blood and guts stuff ready to go. So bitches, move out the way. Well, first and foremost, I'm so upset that Penelope is hurt. I was just like, move out the way. They are my new favorites to win this thing.
Yeah, I love it that both Tony Schiavone and Mox were like, "Wow!" Because like when Marina stepped in the frame, like Tony goes like, "Oh wow."
And again, Moxley is me. This moment is like, oh, I'm wishing Penelope a speedy recovery because we just got her back and I'd love her. She can never catch a break. But in the meantime, though, she's still going to be on the sidelines, as she say. And Marina and Megan, I'm just like, y'all better get ready. This tag team tournament, I was like, y'all are not ready. I think they're my new faves to try to want to see win this whole thing. We shall see what happens. But yeah, Moxley, perfect selling of this. Exactly, me too. I was like, me too, Mox. Me too. Main event time, it was just like, I looked at my clock. I was like, damn, Dynamite kind of just went through. I was just like, all right, main event time. This was a Fright Night 4-way match to determine who will be facing Hangman, Aggro, Adam Page at Full Gear. And looking at this card, I was just like, this is going to be a fun match. However, there really is only one option. And to nobody's surprise, Samoa Joe ends up winning the match. And I was just like, this did two things. First, I mean, Hook ended up getting pinned by Joe. So Hook still got that unresolved beef with Joe. Bobby and Ricochet are still going at it. So it seems that we still got some business between Goa, Ricochet, and the Hurt Syndicate. So the Demand and the Hurt Syndicate are still probably going to be beefing for a little bit. But I was just like, did we really think anybody else except Joe was going to win? But like, did we think anything else? And I'm like, no, not really. No.
I thought this was rather fun for what it was.
Yeah.
I liked the story of no Joe, Ricochet, and Bobby not taking Hook seriously. And then like a couple minutes later, like Bobby Lashley's like calm down. But
I was like, fine, I guess.
There seems to be a lot of wrestlers in AEW that are like homages to certain wrestlers, but you know, I'll figure it out eventually. And this is probably the best he's looked in a while. And Bobby Lashley, like throwing around Ricochet like that was incredible.
Yeah, so again, Joe wins. He will be fighting. Hangman continues to be the best at ambushes in Halloween costumes. It's just a thing. Like, the fact that Tony Schiavone was still on the microphone off camera for a little bit as Hangman comes in and does the bit as he is the Hangman. And then when Hangman talks and Joe realizes what's up, Hangman beating the crap out of all, the ops. I was just like, Hangman stays undefeated at ambushing people in the Halloween episode. I love him committing to the bit, wearing a horrible toupee and everything. Hangman, you are amazing. You are amazing.
Yeah, one of my favorite bits throughout the night was that they had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and like different shots like in the background. So it was like a little Easter egg, you know? And yeah, good. This was good stuff. And shout out to the fan who made that horror sign.
100%. We love to see it. We really, really do. Oh, man. So that was Dynamite. So let's get into Collision. Collision was pre-taped because it was the same night as Dynamite. So not a lot of filler per se this episode, but a lot. Again, Collision is the show where we get good crap.
Yeah, this was really fun. Like, it was just shenanigans, to be honest with you. And is easily the funniest person on AEW without even trying. And like, oh man, where'd I go? My brain just like went.
It's all.
Oh, there was like a Tower of Doom spot where like after shit and had been like bickering back and forth, like Kesha used that opportunity to power bomb. And like, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to, because as much as the Acclaim was really fun, the joke is dead. We're moved on.
Yep.
Get everybody else.
100%. I was just like, just leave it alone. We're done. No mas, as the kids say. So yeah, no mas. Takeshita and Okada win here. And I was just like, it's time to figure out what we're doing with Max and Anthony. Like, I feel like the joke has ran its course. It's either let's find something else to do with them. But other than that, this was just a fun way, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of glad it opened the show because from here on out, things were amazing to oh my god. Moving on though, so again, this was our opening match. We move into listen, if I'm just putting this out there, yes, I'm biased because I review CMLL every Wednesday. But if y'all after this match are not on the Olympia hype train, I need you to get on it. Like, oh god, this match. She's just so fucking strong. Holy hell.
You know, it's almost like Tony Khan is a very big fan of Lucha Libre. And
crazy.
in the 1997 Rey Mysterio Eddie Guerrero match at Halloween Havoc, as am I. This is great. This is fantastic.
Oh my god. Yeah, I can't articulate into words properly. I was like, this match rules. And this is the thing that I continue to say. I was just like, when Mercedes gets paired up with luchador, especially our luchadoras, never been a miss facing the CMLL Amazonas division. And even in a loss, she works for the Amazonas, and that's exactly what happened here. Yes, Mercedes ended up winning the match and retaining like her match with Persephone. And just like in her match with Olympia, Mercedes did what needed to be done in showcasing the luchadora to a wider audience. And I was just like, again, I hope this match makes more fans for Olympia because she is phenomenal. And I need more people to check out CMLL because that's where it's at.
Definitely. I actually had a question for this one.
What's up?
How big is the CMLL ring,
But yeah, the CMLL ring is about the same size as a standard US ring, though there's more spring to it in the ropes and in the pads as well because of all the flips and the things that luchadores do. So
yeah, because the only thing that I noticed about Olympia here, I wouldn't say it was a bad note, but I just noticed it myself was that she seemed to be a little bit weary running the ropes and stuff like that. But she did a great job. This is a compliment sandwich. She did a great job.
To be fair, though, this is even with as much practice as they are, we see it in CMLL a lot too. It's like these damn ropes, man. They're gonna kill some. They always catch somebody at the very end at the bottom of their feet. I was like, no. It was like wrestler's worst enemy, ropes. Anyways, this match was a lot of fun, and again, Olympia just keep sending some of the CMLL girls who could travel here to AEW because La Catalina, Olympia, we're getting some good ones like Persephone. I would love to see more girls here. And of course, with CMLL announcing their new partnership with Stardom, I was just like, let's get more Stardom girls. Yes. Anywho, but this was a really fun match. I'm so happy that Olympia got this match on AEW on Collision. This was a lot of fun. Mercedes, y'all did the damn thing. Y'all were great. That's $1 million. I was like, Jurassic Express and Kenny Omega are about to be rich as fed. This was really the only real backstage segment we had that was like, well, here's the story. This is what's happening. We don't get an official graphic yet, but I'm looking forward to if this is an actual match. I was like, just have a money match every single pay-per-view now. Just make it a staple. Yeah. If the Young Bucks are going to continue to fight for money, I was just like, why are we pimping these boys out? But you know what? They want this money, so let's do it. I can't wait if this match gets made official. It's going to be fantastic. I'm a little disappointed that we had to feed, Nixon, Newell, and to them, but I was just like, somebody had to do it, girls. And at least it wasn't like local talent getting squashed. I was like, you put up a fight, but it's Megan Bayne and Marina Shafir. Somebody had to take the fall. I was like, step on me. What? But no, okay. But my thing is I'm glad that we're seeing this tag team because now, not to say that Megan Bayne was being wasted, but after her match against Tony at Dynasty, I was like, I'm wondering what we're gonna do with Megan. And so her and Penelope Ford were a team and I was here for, but this is where it's at. And finally, we are seeing Marina Shafir wrestle after what seems like forever, and she is actually doing things outside of just being menacing and fighting people on Moxley's behalf as Death Rider, soldier number 5. You know what? Happy accidents happen all the time, and it was like, this is what I wanted to see from Marina.
Yeah, Mox was even on commentary, and during Marina's entrance, we got a Defy reference that wasn't exactly a Defy reference. He was like, we've been traveling all over the country, all the way up to Portland, and I can't find anybody to fight her. See, they're even putting over the indie stuff in a way. But these two are absolutely terrifying together. There was a few moments where I don't know how much Nixon Newell has wrestled in the past year, but she looked a little rusty. But there was just one moment where she did a cannonball into the Megan Bayne, and then she like gets up and like falls back down is because like I think Marina wasn't there in time, so like she had to like create some space, you know.
No, it has been a while since Nixon has wrestled because unfortunately she was injured when she was in WWE and she was still injured when she got released. And so I was just like, I have my issues with it. And we're currently seeing it with, formerly known as Ridge Holland, who is putting the Fed on blast for what's happening with him too. I was just like, ugh, but that's not what we're here to talk about. But yeah, since then she hasn't really been booked to wrestle. She's done so recently in like Texas and everything, but she hasn't had a lot of matches because she was under like a 90-day no compete.
That makes sense because I know she's been wrestling she wrestled a couple matches around here up in Massachusetts a couple months. But like, I wasn't trying to throw any shade. I just it takes a while to get back into ring shape. From what I hear, I'm not a wrestler. I only play an expert on this podcast
or create a wrestler in 2K. But yeah, I'm excited for Megan and Marina to fuck it up in the tournament, and like, I'm rooting for them to make it to the finals. And I would be here for them to be, the inaugural champions, not gonna lie. So excited for them. I would like to take a moment of silence for LFI. Okay, that's enough. I love LFI, but my question always remains the same. Why are we doing this to them? Because I love Martos, I love Listico, I love Sammy Guevara. I was like, can we just make someone told me, he's like, hey, did you know that Commander's only 25? I was like, no fucking way. And when I looked it up, I was like, holy shit, he's still a kid. What the flip? Yeah. This match was fun. I was just like, I've missed Commander on my screen. I'm so happy he's back from injury. I love Commander.
Yeah, it was nice to see Alex back too. Like, I know the internet likes to give Alex a lot of, but
Alex so much.
He's fantastic. And he can cut a promo. Like, he's a good manager, you know?
He is the hype man he is one of the hype people that I loved with all my little heart. This was fun.
It was. I love Sammy's little John Waters mustache. That was pretty fun.
It was like, Sammy Guevara, are you about to come out in some cha-cha heels? Because this is about to get crazy. Like, what's going on with the John Waters? Like, what is happening?
I know, right? It was divine.
We are just a couple of things away, and I was like, Sammy Guevara, you could be a wrestling version of Divine. Like, let's be so for real. But anyways, I don't really have too much to say. I enjoyed this match. But again, those are my only notes. It's just like, love to see Commander and Alex Abrahantes on my screen more. What are we doing with LFI? And you know what? I'm kind of here for Roddy being the quote-unquote straight man in this weird group with the conglomeration and their friends, because he is just so straight-laced. That's why I'm kind of hoping, listen, it's always the quiet ones you got to look out for. I need Roddy to just go ham at Blood and Guts. And they're like, oh, he ain't going to do anything, and then pulls out a chainsaw or something. Like, I need him to go buck fucking wild, so to speak. Like, it's so much fun. Anywho, moving on though.
Yes.
Like this, because I was like, I don't care if they get beat up every single week. I need them on my screen every single week. I also need more Dalton Castle and the Outrunners whenever we're gonna get them on television. But
apparently they're on our way.
For real. But we get another MXM TV casting call. This time it was answered by the Bang Bang Gang. So we get a trios match. This was fun. The Bang Bang Gang do win. I was laughing so hard because somebody on Blue Sky was just like, damn, the internet really bullied Juice to grow his beard back. I was like, the internet bullied this dude so hard.
It was literally in my notes. I'm like, beard's back.
I was just like, the beard is back. I was like, damn, the internet bullied him hard to grow it back. But again, I'm happy that we're getting, Juice and them actually doing something, including Ace Austin. And so they do pick up the win over MXM Collection. And I was just like, I love MXM Collection so much. I love the Bang Bang Gang. I was like, we're finally putting the boys on. So it's just like, thank goodness. I know we're waiting for Jay, but I'm glad now we're finally see them wrestling as a trio. So let's just hold it down right now. Like, because the trios division really needs people right now, at least on the men's side of things. But glad to have this match. I love MXM Collection.
All I want to say about this one was that if we could just get the belts off of, like,
there's so much we can do for the trios division right now.
The entire trios division is just spinning its tires. And, like, what are we doing? Like, Joe's like...
He is doing a side quest. I'm just saying, I love the ops, but let's free them from the trios championships, because we have a big field now that we have the Bang Bang Gang, MXM Collection, Outrunners, and Dalton. I was just like, those three teams alone, you can make some really fun stories and matches with. Like, let's do it, please do it. Anyways, now let's talk about this, because I was just like, but Mercedes, I was like, I'm not against it, but I was just like, I don't know, because to me at least, Blood and Guts is just like, okay, y'all been beefing, no more messing with each other's matches, nothing. It's two rings, one cage, y'all about to fight it out. Someone's gonna die, probably, metaphorically speaking. So we gotta hash this out, get it out your system. And I'm just like, Mercedes doesn't make a lot of sense to me and what we've been building for the last. Now, I know it's honestly, I'm gonna be so. I think Penelope was supposed to be in this match, but because she is out injured, I think Mercedes is like being thrown in here, honestly.
Yeah. Oh boy. I don't know how to summarize this. I'm pretty pissed off about this, actually.
Ooh.
You're telling me that we can have what? 6 or 7 guys matches in a week where we get 1 or 2 women's matches just thrown together, and like these people have all, this has not escalated to the point of a blood and guts match. Okay, there's been one Sky Blue and Tony Storm hardcore match, and that was back in August. Everything else has just been a rotating cycle of different people. Well, let's swap out 2 of these, put in 2 more. That's all that's been happening for like 2 months. And then they announced the tag tournament, which is fine and dandy. But then you get 2 weeks to build the blood and guts and the tournament going on at the same time. And you can still only find time for 2 matches a week. What's going on?
This is the best way I can describe it, right? And you can feel free to correct me. But as excited as I am for this match and for the women's tag team titles, which is finally something that they needed to do, I feel that I feel like Tony is overcompensating by giving all of us all these things too much, too much all at once, right? But then when you put it with the fact that it's too much all at once, but you're only giving us like 40% behind the women's division for all of this build, right? Because I was just like, the men's match was like not even on my radar, because we got this announcement that, what was it, like a month and a half ago, after Jamie Hayter said those words that they're going to settle it at Blood and Guts, which I was like, freak yeah, let's do this. And then I'm just like, why is the men's match why is it that you can storytell it correctly for the men's match, and then this has been going on longer, but it's like a Clockwork Orange, like, so just like you said, trading people in. I was just like, I'm excited for this match, but like, y'all should have pulled the trigger sooner. I'm just saying, because this has been going on for too long, and I feel like finally we're getting here, and I'm excited for this match, but this was sloppy build. I'm sorry, this was sloppy, and I was just like, why? You could have spaced it out. I was just like, we could have had Blood and Guts. You could have had the Blood and Guts match at Wrestle Dream and then announced the tournament leading into World's End. Like, then you could have been okay with it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they're not going to do a women's C2, which they're probably not going to do, because God forbid commits any time to the women's division, so it's not just a goddamn sausage fest all the time. But like, my biggest problem, like, it could have been after Full Gear, right? Like, leading to World's End, right? But what, 10 days away from Blood and Guts, and like, we've got like 2 storylines? What? None of this warrants a Blood and Guts match. And another thing, the last thing I'll say, I'm sorry, I'm going off, I know, but like, if Chris Statlander and Mercedes Moné are meeting for the first time, a third time in a singles match, like 12 days after this, like, so they're gonna touch in a steel cage and then go have a regular match on the pay-per-view? What are we doing?
I'm just like, I'm just be so for real. I would have been just fine if you removed Mercedes and Chris, and it could have just been a standard 5-on-5. I would have been okay with that, because those 5 would make sense. Chris and Mercedes being tied up into this because they're the women's champions. I was just like, and again, I'm not saying that this is what it is, but it's very telling, because the way you position certain women makes it seem who's captains of each team. I was just like, I love Chris to death, but she and Jamie need to switch positions, because to me, Jamie is captain of the babyface team, because she's been here fighting this battle the longest, along with Queen. And then I look at the women's side, and I'm just like, I'm going to be so for real. Tekla should be the captain for the heel side, because she's also been doing this for the longest time too. So I'm just saying. But am I still excited for this match? Absolutely. It's going to be bloody brilliant. But I was just like, just don't quote unquote, don't have cock it, Tony Khan. It's just like, you got to spend the time to invest into these women's division because they're great. And honestly, they're fantastic. But you got to give them more time than we already do, please. Anyways,
being completely honest, there more of these women in this match are more over than half of the men's roster.
100%. 100% agree with you. And that will always be the case. However, as much, listen, I will be on my soapbox, but I will also be like, damn, minus the one kid screaming in the front during this match. The audio picked up. Holy shit, this match was banging. Holy God, this match rolled. I cried a little bit. Bandito coming out in Dia de los Muertos, like paint on his chest and his back. I'm like, guys, I'm just going to keep saying this. I'm like, I want to be Máscara Dorada when I'm 23 years old, you guys. Like, this fucking kid, man. Holy shit. That's what I said. I'm like, how? Why? In the immortal words of Katya, it's like, okay, first question, Máscara Dorada. Yes, how dare you? I was just like, my next question, yes, Bandito. Why? But holy shit, like, I don't care if I'm biased because I'm on the CML. Bandito is probably my favorite wrestler of the year hype train, but God, this match was so fucking great. Holy shit.
Yeah, great.
All the explicits are coming out. God damn, bro. Holy.
Yeah, they gave him 25 minutes for this match and like something like that, like, and this was absolutely bonkers. And I'm sad that they didn't get off what they were trying to do at the end, but thank God that Bandito has the quickest hands in the game, because Dorada would have probably fallen on his face.
Very, very fair. But I was just like, yeah, minus the ending, I'm just like, holy crap, Bandito. I was just like, you and Takeshita, man, have been my faves this year. It's
yeah, I didn't mean to leave it on a down note. Like,
it's all good. Just notice this. The Primo's in the building, Agent Lo-Fi, who is our unofficial fourth co-host of CMLL. He's like, hey, tuned in at the right time. You know what I thought about this one, LO. Yeah. It's like, he is our Lucha Libre expert. He watches all the Lucha Libre, and yeah, anytime it's anything CMLL or Bandito related, this is like, yeah, this match is fucking, I was just like, minus the ending, I was just like, God, this felt like a Friday match at Arena Mexico. Honestly,
yeah, I skeeted out at the end of this. I said, "Mas lucha," you know. Like, this was a very lucha forward episode of Collision, and I am happier for it.
Man, I need one more match between these two, either by the end of the year or beginning of next year. Like, give me one more between these two, because I'm gonna be so for real. Unless they give Bandito something else, just give me Máscara and Bandito final battle, honestly, because I will be here for that match. Give me the third one at final battle. I mean, why not? Bandito has fought Takeshita at Supercard. He fought Echiseto at Death Before Dishonor. I was just like, let him fight. Him and Máscara get round 3 at Final Battle. Like, I'm here for it. Give it to me now. But yeah, amazing match of Collision, match of AEW. Definitely right now, potentially might end up on my top 10 matches of the year list. Not even going front. And that's going to be it for AEW. I was just like, this kind of blew past. It was kind of crazy. You know, we got the spoopy versions of Dynamite and Collision this week. Of course, everything is getting crazy because we kind of briefly touched upon it at the beginning, but Dynamite and Collision this week, I love what they are doing for Blood and Guts, where we are getting advantage matches, like best 2 out of 3 for the men's and women's is spread across Dynamite and Collision, where we have a set order. So of course, you know, I'm so excited. I was like, I love that sports presentation of it. It's like, all right, we're going to do 2 out of 3 matches, and we have the third match ready to go, but just in case we need it, which I was like, of course we're going to need it. Y'all know this is how it's going to go. I was like, we're not just going to not have all 3 matches happen. I'm going to be so for real. When I saw who the women picked to be as the third match, just in case they need it, I need Harley to win, because I was just like, I don't want to see Harley get beat up and lose. Can you imagine the pop if she wins in that third match for the women and gets the advantage for the babyface? Like, anywho. But but overall, I'm excited because there's that this week. Then Blood and Guts is next week, which is touted to be Blood and Guts to be like an overextended Dynamite, which is crazy. And then before you know it, we will be here for Full Gear, which we're doing a watch along for Full Gear, because Full Gear is technically a big 4 for AEW. So yeah, but we got to get up on out of here. But before we do, though, just to give you a heads up of what to look forward to for this week, it's a pretty standard review week. Tomorrow evening, we have our NXT review, where after we had to reschedule because I had to deal with, my car being towed due to a flat tire, we are finally getting to our NXT Halloween Havoc review and briefly talking about what the last 2 weeks of NXT have been up to, because now we're gearing up for Gold Rush, which is a 2-week event, which is going to see NXT, TNA evolve and through crossover with each other. We are getting lots of matches happening with all of that, which is going to be nuts. And then we come back later that evening for CMLL as we review a special Halloween edition of where we talk about all the fun stuff. Man, it was a fun show, and we are gearing up for end of the year shenanigans. Then on Friday, the TNA crew is here we're back after weeks of no TNA episodes because they took a break after Bound for Glory. And we are getting, the open challenge night, which is, any fight anywhere, which is kind of nuts of a concept. And then we're getting ready to head into Turning Point, the next pay-per-view for TNA. And then we wrap things up on Sunday with WWE, where things are kind of getting crazy over there in the Fed. But Benny, I'm so happy that you could be here, the dynamic duo holding it down this week and last week. But next week, unless things happen, we are going back to a triple threat, if you will, because JVL will be settled in and will be back to be joining us just in time for blood and guts and stuff like that. What a perfect time to come back to it.
Hell yeah. Jump right back out of the frying pan and into the fire, right?
Heck yeah. So from us two and the rest of the BC Wrestle Pod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay iconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later, but until then, and until next time, peace.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.